So I just saw Poor Things at the 2023 New York Film Festival, the newest film from writer-director Yorgos Lanthimos, the same guy that made movies like The Lobster and The Favorite. It stars Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe, and it kind of follows this weird Frankenstein coming-of-age type story centered around Emma Stone, who is this Frankenstein-type character who essentially goes from being a innocent, kind of infant child in this grown woman's body to being, coming into her own. And I have a lot of thoughts from this one. Obviously, the reactions from this one from the TIFF Festival were really huge. A lot of people saying it's the greatest film maybe ever, and I do have my opinions on it. So I guess the question really is it as good as it's been hyped up to be? Does it live up to what they're saying that it actually is? Well, sort of, but not really. Let me start with some of the pros. First off, Yorgos Lanthimos as a director is definitely somebody I really respect a lot. He is an incredible director with his own flair and his own unique style that is different from literally anything else that I've been seeing in Hollywood. His movies are weird, they're really out there, they're a little bit aggressive with how out there they are. They create these new worlds and they transport you into this reality of dialogue and this reality of just existence that is just so different from any other film that you're going to see. And he does it here, maybe in the most significant way, really creating this extremely unique and different world from anything that he's done before. The world here is really beautiful and magnificent, and all of the effects that created and all the practicality that he used to create it is really well done, and he just did a great job directing this film. A lot of the camera work here is done really well, the cinematography is beautiful, the writing is really interesting. His comedy, although it doesn't always work for me, I will say my entire theater was laughing from start to finish. The first half of this movie is absolutely hilarious, and the comedy did work for at least my audience throughout the entire thing, even if it didn't work for me personally throughout the entire film. Another bright spot are the performances. Starting with Emma Stone, this is arguably the best performance of her career. She is amazing in this role, and she really gets to play a few different characters. She's playing this one woman at different stages of her life, from the, being an infant to being this grown, matured woman, and she gets to play each and every aspect of that, and she does each and every one so well, and brings enough density to each personality that you could actually tell that there's a difference in the age, despite the body not changing at all, despite her look not changing at all. She sells a lot of the comedy, both practical and the dialogue-based comedy, and she does an absolutely fantastic job throughout the entire thing, and I thought she was just magnificent in this role, and arguably the best part of the movie. And I say arguably because Mark Ruffalo, my god is he good in this. Mark Ruffalo gives, the performance of a lifetime. I thought his character was fantastic. Anytime he was on screen, I was laughing. I mean, his stuff in here is by far the funniest stuff in the movie. The movie introduces him as this character that's very hard and very difficult to like. He's very much kind of presented as an antagonistic character, but as you get through the film, you really start to grow to love him in a way, or at least I did, and he is just a part of some of the funniest bits that I've seen in a comedy movie, in years. He is really good here. This is probably my favorite thing that Mark Ruffalo's ever did. He is excellent in this movie. Willem Dafoe is also great. He does his Willem Dafoe thing. He's really funny in a lot of it. There's a few really funny bits with him that I enjoyed. Overall, really just a Willem Dafoe performance. You know what you're gonna get, and you know what you're getting is amazing. But he is here, and he is amazing. I also want to talk about the first half of this movie. The first half of this movie is excellent, and maybe the best filmmaking I've seen all year. I mean, the first half is hilarious. It's well-paced. It brings you to all these different locations and all these different set pieces. It takes you on this really incredible journey, this really interesting story with some deep mysteries and some deep themes about social classes and hierarchies, and it's really amazing. The first half, the first hour-ish of this movie is just excellent. And now I'm gonna get to the cons and talk about the second half of the movie. Now, the second half of the movie isn't bad, okay? It's not terrible at all, but for me, the movie just kind of lost me in the second half. I felt like it just kind of lost its footing, and there's a moment where some characters start to go away, and Emma Stone's character starts getting into some new adventures and some other stuff, and those adventures just were not as interesting to me as some of the other ones, and the comedy also started to dry up for me. I was not laughing anywhere near as hard at the end of this movie as I was in the first half. It just stopped working for me personally. There was also a joke in this movie, and I've got to say it, I'm not going to sit here and be a Karen and be offended over a joke, because I am the farthest person from that type of behavior, right? I don't get offended at anything. But there is a bit here, there is a joke here that involves a sexual encounter with kids in the room watching, and that's all I'm going to really say about what happens in the scene. But for me, I thought it was kind of disgusting, and I'm not really sure how it made it into the movie, and I understand the intentions of the scene. If you've seen the movie, you know the intentions aren't exactly, you know, it's not like a pedophilic type thing, but still, there's two things that should never be mixed in storytelling or film in any way, and that is children and sex, and I just thought the scene probably went a little bit too far, and I was a little disturbed that my whole theater was, like, laughing so hard at the scene, and I was like, wow, am I the only one that's like, this is weird. Kids and sex, like, why are we mixing that? Why is that something that's okay in Hollywood? I don't know how Yorgos wrote that and never thought to take it out. I don't know why the producers of the film saw it and didn't decide to take it. It's not instrumental to the plot whatsoever, and for me, I just thought that joke was really distasteful, and it kind of lost me, and that's something that never happens for me in film, because I don't get offended at fucking anything. I'm like the guy, like, I think you should take comedy as far as you could possibly take it, but for that's kind of like my line. And I do have to get to the sex stuff, because there's a lot of sex in this movie, like, a lot, and it honestly gets to a point where it becomes the entire movie in the second half, and it just... I don't know, man. Like, I love Emma Stone, but do I really need to see her banging 50 different guys for the last hour of a movie? Like, it's just whatever. Just not my cup of tea.
Let me give you a British answer. It was my cup of tea.
I also wasn't the biggest fan of the last act specifically, the last 20-ish minutes of the movie. I think they decided to go along and do this whole other storyline, and it's just kind of thrown together in the last act, and I didn't think it was fully developed, and I wasn't really interested in it, but maybe it was just me, because like I said, my audience was really enjoying it. I could tell they were laughing loudly at everything, so this might just be me. But overall, the first half of this movie is absolutely incredible. The performances are amazing. The film is entertaining throughout. It's paced well. It's very fast-moving. It's very funny. Mark Ruffalo's amazing. This is a movie that I completely understand why a lot of people are saying it's like the best thing ever. It's personally, for me, my favorite film from Yorgos Lanthimos, although I am not the biggest fan of The Lobster or The Favorite. It is my favorite film that I've seen of him. I do recommend you guys see it. I think everybody will probably have a very interesting opinion of this. I'm very interested to see what general audiences think of this movie when it eventually releases publicly, because I know how the festival crowds are seeing it. I know how I feel about it, so I kind of want to see how regular audiences are going to take it. If they're going to see it, say it's, you know, Oppenheimer, you know, it's going to beat Oppenheimer, it's the best movie of the year, or if it's going to be more of a negative reaction. So I'm very interested in that. But overall, I'll give Poor Things a 4 out of 5. It's a solid movie with a second half that just did not work that well for me. But that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Make sure to turn on the notifications to see everything as I post it. I will see you guys in the next video.